Can I use the word university as part of my trademark? Somebody asked me that yesterday. I'm answering it here live. I'm Angela Langlotz, trademark and copyright attorney, and I go live here on weekdays to discuss trademarks and copyrights. So someone asked me yesterday, can I use the word university in my trademark? And the answer is always, let's look at the context, right? So let's say that you wanted to manufacture a new line of cell phones and you wanted to call that university. Now, university usually is attached to educational services, but in this case, we're going to attach it to cell phones, right? So I want to manufacture cell phones and I want to use the brand name university on my cell phones. Is that allowed? Yes, because university doesn't really have anything to do with cell phones. It doesn't describe cell phones. There's nothing that university has to do with manufacturing electronic goods, including cell phones. So that's an example of a arbitrary mark where we've just decided to use an English word or another language word, it doesn't matter, but we've decided to use a word as a certain brand for our product that has nothing to do with our product. Another example of this that I did a video on earlier is orange for amplifiers, for guitar amplifiers. And so they used the word orange. Orange has absolutely nothing to do with guitar amplifiers. It's just an arbitrary word that they chose for a brand. Fine. But what if your goods and services that you want to associate the trademark with are educational services and you want to use the word university? Well, now we look at that a little bit differently because university can be used to describe educational services, right? So let's look at an example of this. Now, don't come at me because I'm using this as an example, okay? I looked for Cardone University. Apparently, he doesn't have that registered as a trademark, but Donald Trump used to have trademarks for Trump University. Now, you can see here that they are dead. They're dead because they weren't renewed. You have to renew your trademarks between year 5 and year 6, and if you don't do that, then your mark will go abandoned for non-renewal. But let's take a look at these. So, oops, expired. Gosh, I hate it when that happens. So let's go do this again. We're going to look up Trump University and see what we get. All right, so here we are again. So let's go look at Trump University. And you can see that it was canceled, right? It was canceled for non-renewal. We expect that when you don't renew. But let's look at the goods and let's look at how the registration worked out. So you'll notice that there was a registration for pre-recorded DVDs, CDs, and audio tapes featuring study course material in the field of real estate and entrepreneurship. Fine. So he's making educational courses and videos and DVDs and using the Trump University brand on those. There was also printed materials, namely books for home study courses in the field of real estate and entrepreneurship. Fine. So he used his last name plus university for this, but there was this disclaimer, right? Down here, you can see no claim is made to the exclusive right to use university apart from the mark as shown. So if your mark contains the word university and it's for educational products, you are most likely going to be required by the trademark office to disclaim, in other words, to say that you don't have the exclusive right to use the word university in conjunction with your educational products or services. Now let's go ahead and look at the next one. So this one, the next document was, again, Trump University for educational services in the nature of conducting online courses, okay, in the field of business and real estate. Now, this is kind of interesting. There was no disclaimer required here, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know why they did this. So the trademark office is often inconsistent in the way they treat applicants and applications. So that's one thing that we deal with as practitioners is we will often have one situation for one client, and then we get another examiner and the other examiner treats a situation completely differently. It's just one of the things that we have to deal with. So in short, you may be able to use university with your goods and services, but it may depend on the goods and services that you are associating that mark with. I recommend, if you're going to try to register something like this, that you seek advice from a competent trademark attorney before you register anything, because if you apply, you may make some admissions that don't benefit you in the ultimate outcome of the trademark registration that you're attempting to get. I'm Angela Langlotz. If you have questions, drop them into the comments below. I'll answer them on a future live video. You can find me online at TrademarkDoctor.net, and I have a huge YouTube channel. You can find that at video.TrademarkDoctor.net/YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get all of my newest material.